This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
A lot of diversion has been made of the insurrection against the United States, the failed coup attempt, the attempted overthrow of our government by way of overturning a free and fair and settled American election. And some of the subterfuge, some of the distraction that has been attempted is saying that Donald Trump actually, without doubt, ordered all of these troops at the ready to protect the Capitol because he knew what was coming, even though they've blamed Antifa. And now they don't blame Antifa, but they say that these Republicans are being persecuted, but then also it was still Antifa. It's all a bit much. But one other point of this is that Nancy Pelosi failed in her duty. She was derelict relative to securing the Capitol for which she's responsible. And that she made no effort, or at least delayed her effort to try to get the National Guard there to dispatch the crowd, to dispense with the seditious conspiracy that was underway, the violent insurrection. And Republicans have taken the podium and made this accusation and asked the questions, and when are we going to get to the bottom of this? That this is Nancy Pelosi's doing. When it was actually Donald Trump's. And now we've got tape of it. But there was another moment that I want to talk about very briefly of all of this film that was released yesterday during one of the final public hearings of the House Select Committee investigating the insurrection. And that's this moment when Nancy Pelosi was talking to a staffer who had just informed her that Donald Trump, they didn't think was coming down to the Capitol, but he still might, and who knows. And she kind of showed her human emotion side of it, declaring that she wants to punch him in the face and maybe I'll go to jail, but I'll be happy or something like that. Watch this moment, then we'll get to the other stuff, calling out these dirty, vile, hypocrite Republicans who knew that she made an effort, but still acted like she didn't. Watch this from Nancy Pelosi.
Secret Service said they have dissuaded him from coming to Capitol Hill. They told him they don't have the resources to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my
wow,
moment.
I would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy.
While this is a funny clip, it's not really of consequence. And, for the joke's sake, let me tell you, I'd pay to watch that fight. I know Donald Trump's advocates who Photoshop him onto bodies of Sylvester Stallone and Rambo on a tank like he's some kind of a badass. This little old lady, I think, would give Donald Trump a run for his money because he is a weakling, a feckless little physical coward. But the more important aspect of all of this footage that was released yesterday is the fact that it outs people like Steve Scalise. And every time I talk about Steve Scalise, I need to let you know that he is a person who, during early campaigns, told the voters of Louisiana that he's just like David Duke without all the baggage. You'll know, famously, David Duke is the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He's just like David Duke without the baggage. But Steve Scalise is a man who took to a podium asking questions, raising questions, calling into question Nancy Pelosi's role in the insurrection and placing blame on her for not doing enough to get the National Guard to secure the campus. And now we know, based on this tape, based on this evidence, that Nancy Pelosi was doing everything she could to do that very thing, to secure the Capitol, to get the National Guard and troops, bodies, boots on the ground, to make safe the constitutionally mandated role of Congress to certify the vote, which was the objective of the crowd to stop. Here's a brief minute and 36 seconds of the lead up to that and the frenzy and the frantic nature of what was taking place, how serious they absolutely were taking it, and Nancy Pelosi's role in that.
but you know what? We have got to finish the proceedings, or else they will have the complete victory.
Senator Schumer is at a secure location, and they're locked down in the Senate.
There has to be some way we can maintain the sense that people have that there's some security or some confidence that government can function and that we can elect the President of the United States. Did we go back into session?
We did go back into session, but now apparently everybody on the floor is putting on tear gas masks to prepare for a breach. Well, I'm trying to get more information.
They're putting on their
tear gas masks.
You believe this? You believe this?
I can't.
We need an area for the House members. They're all walking over now through the tunnels.
Bring her out! Bring her out here! Hey! We're coming in if you don't bring her out!
I'm going to call up the effing Secretary of DOD. We have some senators who are still in their hideaways. They need massive personnel now. Can you get the Maryland National Guard to come too?
I have something to say, Mr. Secretary. I'm going to call the mayor of Washington, D.C. right now and see what other outreach she has to other police departments, as Leader Hoyer has mentioned.
The insane insurrectionists are screaming, "Bring her out here. If you don't bring her out, we're coming in." They had mayhem in mind. Only 1,000 feet away, there was a hangman's gallows constructed on the yard as they screamed, "Hang Mike Pence," because they wanted their dear leader in place, no matter the actual outcome of the election. And then here is Steve Scalise, Jim Banks from Pennsylvania, another scoundrel to be sure, but also Steve Scalise calling into questions the actions of Nancy Pelosi. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to play a very brief clip proving that he knew she did everything she could do. Watch this from, just like David Duke, but without all the baggage, Steve Scalise.
Was Speaker Pelosi involved in the decision to delay National Guard assistance on January 6th? Those are serious and real questions that this committee refuses to even ask.
Thank you, Jim. And Jim Banks just raised some very serious questions that should be answered by the January 6th Commission, but they're not. And they're not for a very specific reason, and that's because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want those questions to be answered. In fact, she took the unprecedented step of kicking Jim Banks and Jim Jordan off of the January 6th committee because they were going to ask those questions that a lot of people would like the answers to.
These are very serious questions that need to be answered, and Nancy Pelosi doesn't want them answered, says David Duke without the baggage. While in the moment, he was not just in the wings, but in the conversation. He was standing in a group of congresspersons, begging for help, wanting the National Guard dispatched to secure the Capitol. Watch this from that very day. Steve Scalise, with his American flag mask on, watching what is taking place. Vile, sinister liars who are making this political while charging that the other side is doing that. Watch him.
This cannot be just we're waiting for so-and-so. We need them there now, whoever you got.
You also have troops. This is Steny Hoyer. Troops.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time to make that decision.
Andrews Air Force Base.
All right.
Other military bases.
Thank you.
We
Thanks,
need
Paul.
active
Bye.
duty National Guard.
How soon in the future can you have the place evacuated, cleaned out?
I don't want to speak for the leadership that's going to be responsible for executing the operation, so I'm not going to say that because they're on the ground and they're the
Well, just pretend for a moment it was the Pentagon or the White House or some other entity that was under siege. And let me say, you can logistically get people there as you make the plan.
There he stands, not 2 feet away from the phone, not 2 feet away from Nancy Pelosi, who is pleading for help, standing right behind Mitch McConnell. And he has the audacity, the temerity, the lack of integrity to stand at a podium in the House press gallery and ask the question, this just needs to be answered. Where was Nancy Pelosi? These are important questions. This gives you a direct glimpse into Republican motivation. They do not care about the safety and security of this republic. They do not care about democracy. They do not care about the continuing existence of these United States in the form that has existed for the last 200 some years. What they care about is getting a little whiff of the taint of Donald Trump and keeping it just below their nose. They worry about protecting their dear leader. They worry about staying in power at whatever cost, even if it means destroying the United States of America. These people are vile, they are dangerous, and they will stop at nothing to continue in power and fundamentally change our nation. What do you think about everything you've seen? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can also email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see you on social media. Follow me, I'm at Dollemore, just about everywhere. And if you appreciate what I do, I would very much love it if you would consider supporting my work right here on the platform. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99 a month, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.